Now let's do another equation. 5c. Now this one has a lot of stuff. It's got two fractions and a square root. This is a brand new equation, so I'm going to use new. And the first thing I want to do is insert an equation. Now the numerator is simply the subtraction 29 minus 5. So 29 minus 5. I'll use the right arrow twice, 1, 2, to get into that denominator. Now here's a strange thing. The denominator is itself a fraction. So I'm going to go back to the fraction and click fraction. And now in that denominator we have another little numerator and denominator. The little numerator there, and it's all ready to be input, is 8, and I will use the right arrow twice, once, twice. This denominator now, believe it or not, is the square root of 4. To input a square root, I need to go up to the square root button, click that, and now I'm ready to insert the value 4. And there's the expression. Now I can click to the right and put an equal sign, and I can continue showing how this would work. For example, the first thing that we would have to do probably out of all this is manipulate that square root. Square root of 4 is 2. But everything else would be the same. I will click the fraction bar for the 29 minus 5, and then 2 right arrows. I will click the fraction bar again to get the 8, and 2 right arrows to get 2 now. If I push 2 right arrows again, or actually I had to do it a third time, it'll get me all the way out in front, and I can put another equal sign. Now I can click on fraction again. In the numerator, I'm actually going to just solve or evaluate. That's 29 minus 5, which is 24. And in the denominator, I'm going to get 8 divided by 2, which is 4. I do the right arrow again twice, 1, 2, and I can say 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now, I just realized that after all of this typing, I made a mistake in the very beginning. It should have actually have been 29 minus 25. So I can go back in and edit that right here. That'll be a 2, 29 minus 25. Over here, that'll be a 2. And now 29 minus 25 should be just 4, not 24. So I'm going to delete that 2, and now 4 over 4 is just 1, and I'll delete the 6. And I'll insert that whole thing as just one equation. And it's not really an equation in the same strictest sense that we use equations in chapter 2. This is actually an expression. But I can't do much about this. This is called Equation Editor. Let's preview what we've got so far. Here we have 5a. Remember how I had to get the times sign and the divided by sign from that special screen, that special palette. And I even had to expand the window to find the A, B, C, or whatever it was that was up there that would allow me to get and access that special palette. Here we have the fractions. And I showed you also how we can go back in and use the same equation to generate a very similar equation. And here I show how we can just type the same thing over and over again. Now there are certain clunky things about this. Let me go ahead and get out of this. That you just cannot do. I'm going to do letter E, 5E, which has square root in it, and it's also got exponents. This is going to be a brand new equation, so I'll click here. And it's going to be a square root to start. So I'm going to start with a square root. Now inside, I want to have 6 squared. Whoops, I typed on that twice. Uh-oh. Oh, I accidentally typed on it twice. Can I get rid of that? Let me see. I'll highlight. Can I highlight just one? No, I guess I highlight both and click backspace. I got to start fresh. That's a clunky thing. It should have been able to allow me to highlight just the one, and if I worked hard enough at it, maybe I would have gotten it. But I don't know. Now, I need to write in here 6 squared plus 8 squared. If I type in 6, I cannot put in a power of 2. I cannot put in the squared. We do have a palette for exponents, or a button anyway. If I click the button, it wants something else to be squared. So I needed that button, not the 6 itself, to click here and say 6 and then 2 right arrows, and now I can put the 2 in, and 2 right arrows gets me out, but I'm going to have to delete that first 6 in front. So I have to delete that, and now I'm ready to continue. Now here's another question. This bar that I put, is it going to be inside the radical or outside? I hope it's inside because that's what I want. Okay, I'm going to push the plus. Oh, nuts. I wanted that to be inside the radical. So how do I get there? Maybe if I just click right here and then push plus again. Nope, it's staying outside. This is the idea of how clunky it is. So I'm going to actually erase all of this. I'm going to start by doing the square root. I will do this. Oh, actually, you know what I want to do? I want to put a plus sign in first. So I'm going to put a plus sign in right away. And I'm going to do the second one first, which happens to be 8 squared. So I'm going to come up here and click on the exponent key, and I will do 8 and then 2 right arrows and 2. And now I'm going to come back before the plus sign and do the exponent again. And now I can put in the 6, 2 right arrows, and a 2. And now finally I have the expression I want. You see how challenging that was? Well, that's just the nature of this program, and there's nothing we can do about it. We kind of have to work with that. So if you are finding that you can't get things in the right position, sometimes you have to be a little bit creative to make things fit the way they're supposed to. Okay, I'll go ahead and insert that just so we can see what it looks like. And now we'll preview, and there's the 6 squared plus 8 squared, all under the same square root. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you, and not to scare you away like the clunkiness that we saw with 5e, but feel free to use it. It is helpful in a lot of regards, especially for fractions, and there are some good things that you can do with it, despite all the clunkiness at times. Okay, I'm going to just close out of that. We can post it, even though really I don't want to post. I'm going to probably delete that in just a little bit. Anyway, I hope that this has been helpful to you, and please let me know if you have any questions. You can always try to type it regularly, but I hope this has been helpful to you. Good day.